Speedway Season 2, Episode 8. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the next generation Mood Springs racer, Ed Truncan. So, however, here are some screenshots where Ed Truncan appeared. He took over when Dud Throttleman retired, Chuck and Banks retired. He did appear in the Motor Speedway at the South when the next gens took over, like Brian Laney, Harvey Rockcap, Aaron Clocker, Tim Trellis, and H.J. Hollis with the 6 next gens, and he did appear some of the races, and he did appear in the Los Angeles 500 McQueen's Crash, and then he did appear in the Rusty's Racing Center Simulator when he was shocked. And at the Florida 500, he did also appear when the race was getting ready for the race, and he was involved in the crash. But thankfully, Ed Truncan survived. So he did have some less screen time. So enough with the appearances, but here's a screenshot of his only release. He was only released in the Cars Stream Mainline, and that is why he's an overlooked next gen nowadays, and Mattel hasn't made a re-release on him as a normal variation. If they make a re-release, he'll be made in Vietnam or Thailand. If Thailand, he will have the metal windows like Will Rush. And unfortunately, I do not have his Rocket Racer, unfortunately, because the last Rocket Racers like Eric Baker, Michael Rodor, George Newell, and Ed Truncan were the only ones not in the US, sadly, but don't have them, unfortunately. But despite that, I do have his Endurance Racer, so we can compare it to his Endurance Racer and his Disney Store figure variation. So without further ado, let's take a look at Ed Truncan. Here's Ed Truncan. He does look pretty angry. And there's the Webs, there's the current Mood Springs logo, Piston Cup, Combustor, Carousel Synergy, number 33. He was made the 237th day of 2017, made in China. Rookie stripes. I really love Ed Truncan's shiny metallic blue. It looks very, very cool. There's the Mood Springs logo. And Mood Springs is one of my favorite sponsors because Race Damage Mood Springs. And I do have an extra Race Damage Mood Springs in package. That's why Mood Springs is one of my favorite sponsors. 33 on the top. Pretty determined with blue rims. Definitely one of my favorite next gens. And I did actually review Race Damage Mood Springs for the beginning of the season of Memory Monday Season 2. If you want to check it out, there'll be a card right above. Feel free to check it out. So he does look, Ed Truncan looks very, very cool. There's the white arrow, there's the N as a Mood Springs. It looks like a Mario logo as abbreviation for Mario from Super Mario Brothers. Very interesting next gen, and definitely one of my favorite next gens. Rookie stripes. Let's go. Before we compare him to his variations, let's compare him to the 4 Mood Springs racers. On the left, here we have his 2006 Chuck Armstrong video game racer, stock card, Dud Throttleman, Banks, and last but not least, on the right, we have the current Mood Springs racer, Ed Truncan. Dud will be my least favorite because he is quite similar to Chuck Armstrong, and Dud is a fan favorite, but to be honest, Chuck and Ed Truncan are way better and Banks is pretty overrated, and the company, Mood Springs is pretty unique sponsor, and look how much change they have. Banks is 34, and let me know which one is your favorite Mood Springs racer. Chuck Armstrong, Banks, Dud Throttleman, or Ed Truncan. I know Mood Springs fans will choose Banks and Dud Throttleman, but for me, I'll have to go with Chuck Armstrong because I love his blue and it's clever, and this is the rubber tire version. Was made in the 51st day of 2009. And another reason why Chuck is my favorite Mood Springs racer is because of the race damage Mood Springs variation, which I'm very, very happy. And thanks to my mom for helping me getting the extra race damage Mood Springs. I got it for Christmas last year, which I am very, very grateful. Thanks to her for helping me out. So let's compare him to his endurance racer. So even though they're very, very different, and the endurance racer does not have the webs have torn off, and the rims are different, and the Mood Springs logo is torn off into RS24. He was made in the 205th day of 2020. No rookie strips on the endurance racer. But this one has window bars, and this one does not. So, which one is your favorite? Normal or endurance? I'll have to go to normal because it has much detail. Last but not least is his Disney Store figure. So recently, I had to get this Disney Store figure because of the JP Drive version. Because he looks similar to his Mattel version. They're the same models. And Ed Truncan, what I really don't like the Disney Store Ed Truncan because of the rims look too weird and his expression. And all Disney Store cars have, like Disney Store cars, like the Danny models always have the Danny spoiler. And for Tim trailers, they will always have the Tim spoiler. So which one do you prefer, Disney Store or normal one? I'll have to go to normal one all the way. And that'll conclude for Memory Monday Season 2, Episode 8. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comment section below. What are your top 5 favorite Next Gens? For me, it'll be George, Jonas, Ed, Steve, and JD. What is yours? And we'll see you next time, and goodbye.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side.